On this Wednesday night, a hockey home opener for the ages as the Humboldt Broncos step back on the ice. Members of the new team pick up their sticks for each other and for an entire community. A new beginning 5 months after the bus tragedy that changed everything. We're at the arena with updates through the night.
Also tonight, exclusive television access to an extraordinary Canadian medical achievement. How this Quebec man got a new life after doctors gave him a new face. You'll see the remarkable transformation. This is The National.
It has been 5 months since that bus crash tore a small Saskatchewan city apart. The Humboldt Broncos were headed to a playoff game. As you know, they never got there. But now a big step forward. The Broncos are back on home ice, kicking off a new season tonight against the Nipawin Hawks. That's the team they were supposed to play the night of the crash. And our Susan Ormiston is there tonight. Susan, you and I spoke outside that arena the night of the vigil back in April. What's it like there tonight?
Well, what a difference between those somber days in April from the memorials here inside this arena to tonight. It is a packed crowd inside those doors, sold out. You couldn't get a ticket today. You can see the excitement as this brand new Humboldt Broncos team took to the ice. They're playing, and in fact, what a way to start. There has been a goal, and it's a Broncos goal. They're playing the Nipawin Hawks tonight. You can really see the relief here and the excitement of people cheering and celebrating hockey again. This is a game, a Junior A hockey game we've never seen before anywhere, given what this team and this community has been through. Of course, the inconsolable loss is still here, felt by the friends and family of the 16 players and staff who aren't here tonight. It is softened, though, as this is a great big stride towards healing.
The ribbons seem fresh, the tragedy not so far gone. This prairie city may appear the same, but it has been changed. At Universal Sports on Main Street, Mark Depker, the owner, delivers the new Broncos jerseys.
Yeah, those are good. Okay, those are the ones I got to take today and get those all sewn up.
For the new team trainer, Skip Day. Last year's jersey numbers are retired forever.
It's something that'll never be forgotten. It'll never go away. But it's time that I think slowly everything is starting to heal.
The new Broncos are eager young men looking to prove themselves under a glaring spotlight. Only 2 returned, carrying the weight of their teammates gone and injured. Braden Camroot is back. We saw him last at a player's funeral.
For me personally, the hardest thing for me is, seeing the other parents, and I'm so lucky to be here, and I could have been any one of those other guys, and they could have been in my position. It's hard not to feel guilty sometimes, but they all tell me they want to see me succeed.
The Broncos lost both their goalies last season. One is paralyzed. One of the new netminders is Dane Dow, traded here.
It's definitely a big honor. It's going to be pretty special putting on that Humboldt Broncos jersey.
He's got an amazing custom mask.
So all the people who've passed on are in this helmet?
Yeah.
For example, you can see the former coach here, Darcy Hogan.
We came up with this design, just the Broncos logo up here and the names, I guess, shadowed in.
His family now join the Broncos strong.
It's a bittersweet thing. You're humbled by it. Emotional journey.
As a head
Coach Nathan Oystrick, recruited this summer, has a team full of Broncos rookies, no playbook, and missing a coach mentor.
The past month has been stressful. It's been tough. In any other job like this, if the coach had moved on, you could still call the guy or text him and ask him what the password was, or ask him how this ran last year, or ask him any of those questions. This year I couldn't.
Humboldt needs this game to banish the shadows at center ice, to cheer and celebrate hockey, to remember and move on.
Ian, you cannot underplay the importance of this game. I've already seen several of the former Broncos who were injured and are no longer playing for this team here in the arena. They've come to support their team still and support people like Braden Cameron, who, by the way, got an assist on that goal. What a night for him. There will be pure hockey for the full 3 periods, and then there will be a tribute for the 16 who are not here. It had to come at the end. The coach didn't want their players to go on the ice emotionally spent. Cameron said he'll rein in his emotions until the buzzer, and then he'll let them go. Ian.
Tonight, one more emotional challenge for that Bronco team. Thanks very much, Susan, and we'll check in with you again in an hour to see how things are developing. Susan is at the Elgar Peterson Arena in Humboldt tonight.
Here's what else we're working on tonight on The National. A monster storm heading straight for the U.S. East Coast. Paul Hunter takes us to a city getting ready.
Plus, PEI is scrapping a provincial immigration program after the Canadian Border Services Agency said hundreds of people may have scammed it.
But first, a chaotic scene in Ontario's legislature. A huge uproar over the provincial government's decision to push through legislation shrinking Toronto City Council. As Ron Charles reports, first protesters got tossed out, then lawmakers.
Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
As the Ontario Progressive Conservatives tabled the bill that would make them the province's first government to override the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, chaos ensued across the aisle. The opposition protest an attempt to delay the bill.
Ms. Horvath, your name.
The Speaker called out NDP members one by one and had the Sergeant-at-Arms eject them from the legislature.
All those in favor of the motion will please say aye.
Eventually, the bill was tabled and passed first reading with most of the opposition banished to the hallways.
Today was a day to show clearly whose side New Democrats are on, and we're on the side of all of those people who are completely disgusted by what this government's doing, and there are many of them.
Attorney General Carolyn Mulroney defended using the notwithstanding clause.
We are using the Charter of Rights and Freedoms to uphold the Constitution.
That, in spite of her father, former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, yesterday saying he never liked the clause.
He was opposed to the notwithstanding clause when it was introduced, but he recognizes, and he said yesterday, that it is a tool that is a legal tool that is available for democratically elected legislatures to use.
But this legislature had to contend with a day of protest to use the clause, including from the public galleries. After 2 warnings, the Speaker had had enough.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to clear the galleries.
Police handcuffed stragglers and escorted them out.
I'm 77 and a half years old. Go ahead, give me a record. I don't care. But I feel like I have to do whatever's humanly possible to stop this roller coaster.
That legislative roller coaster continues with debate on the bill tomorrow and a possible final vote sometime next week. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
CBC's Ontario Provincial Affairs reporter Mike Crawley joins me now from Toronto. You've covered Queen's Park for a long time, Mike. Give us a sense of how unusual today was.
Well, look, Rosemary, normally at this time of year in Toronto, if you see a big, long line of people queued up around the corner for something, it's a premiere at the Toronto Film Festival. Well, today the hot ticket was question period at Queen's Park, of all things, if you can believe it. Extraordinary scenes, people wanting to be there to see this piece of legislation with the notwithstanding clause in it and to make their voices heard. So then you ended up with these scenes of people being led away in handcuffs after protesting and refusing to leave the legislature. Not something I have ever seen in my time at Queen's Park. You see politicians get kicked out,
sure.
but not ordinary people in the public gallery.
So, Mike, how much of this is about a new government and a new premier who's trying to, rather forcefully impose his new agenda?
Well, from what I've heard from the people that I've talked to within the Doug Ford government, they want to keep the pedal to the metal. They want to accomplish a lot of things, and they don't mind if it rubs a few people the wrong way. So these kinds of scenes of protest, I'm actually expecting them to continue and probably to end up being about a wider variety of things. So it's not just going to be about the notwithstanding clause, but just about everything this Doug Ford government is going to do. You're going to see his opponents try to make their voices heard.
And probably better to get that stuff over in the beginning of a mandate rather than later on. Queen's Park reporter Mike Crawley in Toronto tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Staying with politics, the next federal election is 400 days away. Mark your calendar. Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are gathering this week to map out what they hope will be another victory, while Jagmeet Singh and his New Democrats meet to grapple with pre-election issues of their own. The party is struggling in the polls and fundraising is flat. As Hannah Thibodeau reports, the NDP caucus is meeting in BC to come up with a plan.
There were high fives, hugs, and huge applause for NDP leader Jagmeet Singh as he delivered remarks to his caucus.
Merci, merci, thank you, thank you.
His main message to motivate MPs, the Liberals are swiping ideas from the NDP like a national pharmacare program.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, they might have stole from our playbook. And I don't mind that. I don't think any of us mind that on one condition. They actually do it. They implement it.
In front of the cameras and even at a team-building bowling night, it sure looked like one big happy family. But behind the scenes, it isn't all fun and games for Singh's NDP. There are divisions over his leadership. Fundraising has been poor, and poll numbers have dropped since the last election. And he's only been leader since last October.
It hasn't been a good rookie year for Jagmeet Singh.
This pollster says Singh needs to sell himself as a credible alternative.
What we haven't seen is a leader that's really captured the attention, the imagination, the spark, the energy.
Singh will try to build his profile here in Burnaby, running for a seat in a riding he doesn't live in yet. But it was once held by Tommy Douglas, the first leader of the NDP, and he wasn't from there either. But will Singh be welcomed in Burnaby South? We asked around.
Do you know who that is?
I do not.
Do you know who that is?
I do not. Oh, no, yes.
Yes.
Did it. Governments, Canada, he's, you got this.
Not many others recognized him either.
Never see it this one.
Never saw him before?
No.
No, sorry.
Even though the riding has a long history of voting NDP, the party won by only a few hundred votes in the last election. Singh and his team will be out canvassing the riding this week, and he'll be officially nominated as the candidate on Saturday. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Surrey, BC.
So one way to gauge how much support parties are attracting is by looking at the money they're raising. So far this year, the Conservatives have raised nearly twice as much money as the Liberals. Check that out. The NDP is well behind, something Jagmeet Singh says needs to be fixed before next year's election.
Here's Hurricane Florence, a scene from the International Space Station today. One of the astronauts said they needed a super wide-angle lens to capture it. Florence has been downgraded to a Category 3 hurricane, but officials warn it could regain power before it blows to shore. Forecasters aren't sure yet when or where that will be, but more than 10 million people in 3 states are currently under a storm watch or warning. And one of those states is North Carolina, directly in the path of Florence. The CBC's Paul Hunter is there tonight, where authorities continue to urge people to leave while they still can.
Outside Wilmington, North Carolina, the lineups are long because the gasoline is dwindling already, as they all brace for a looming catastrophe.
How are you feeling about what's coming?
Apprehensive. 130 miles an hour, 135 miles an hour, that worries me.
This is where Hurricane Florence may well hit first. Downtown Wilmington is now all but deserted. Those still hanging in
Yeah, we're just really hoping for the best.
are sandbagging up. Windows covered, fingers crossed. As they've heard all week, Florence will be a monster.
This is going to be, you know, a Mike Tyson punch to the Carolina coast.
What's more, Florence is now expected to stall just offshore, maintaining its ferocious winds while pouring near unfathomable rain, up to 1.3 meters of it. Then slowly drift southwest, maybe all the way to Georgia. Today, the president was blunt.
Get out of its way. Don't play games with it. It's a big one.
may be as big as they've seen, and tremendous amounts of water.
Indeed, water's a huge fear. Besides that rain, they expect seawater to surge nearly 4 meters, described as tsunami-esque. And blackouts. In the late summer heat, up to 3 million people may lose power. And while millions have fled up and down the Carolinas coastline, with shelters filling up fast, yet another worry is for all those who can't get away, who right now don't know what to do.
The concern is about people who are very young or very old, who don't have much money or access to transportation, who do not speak the predominant language and don't have access to information.
But the big question, Ian, is when's it going to make landfall? And on that, the jury's still out. Some are now saying late Friday, early Saturday, sometime Saturday. On top of everything else, Florence is proving a tough one to predict.
So, Paul, amid all that uncertainty, all these dire warnings as well, what's the mood there like tonight?
Well, I got to say, it's eerie here. I mean, the place is effectively emptied. I'm not going to say there's no one on the streets. There's a person here and there, but like everyone's gone, you know. We drove down here from Washington today, down the highway, 6 hours. It's highway traffic. Then we came into Wilmington, which is effectively on the water, and it was like, whew, nothing, nobody. They've all gone. I talk about Florence being, you know, hard to predict. People know this is going to be brutal. They know something terrible is coming, and they got out.
Well, it sure does look empty behind you. Thanks, Paul.
All right.
Hey, we've asked the CBC's Renee Filipponi to look into the science of this storm. And Renee, tell us what it is that's making Hurricane Florence so potentially dangerous.
Well, Ian, this is being called a once-in-a-generation hurricane, and that's because it's not following the usual path of Atlantic storms, and that's what makes it so unpredictable. Scientists say because Hurricane Florence is driven by warm ocean air, it can hold and carry more water as it moves from West Africa to North America. Plus, it's slow-moving and has the potential to stall. So that could mean days of downpours before the storm moves on, similar to what happened last year with Hurricane Harvey, which caused flash flooding and deaths in Texas. Florence's travel speed is different from the speed inside the hurricane. Forecasters were anticipating upgrading it from a Category 4 to a 5. Instead, it was downgraded to a 3. But a Category 3 can still whip up winds of 208 kilometers per hour. Then there are those 2 hovering high-pressure systems blocking Florence, possibly pushing the hurricane inland off its natural course. So the struggle for emergency officials is to try and anticipate where Florence is going, when it will get there, and what level of damage it will do. Ian?
Okay. Thanks, Renee.
You're welcome.
We are watching other developing stories on The National tonight, including a rap on the knuckles for a member of the federal government. Canada's Ethics Commissioner says that Cabinet Minister Dominic LeBlanc violated conflict of interest rules. As Minister of Fisheries and Oceans, he approved an Arctic surf clam license to the Five Nations Clam Corporation. Turns out a cousin of LeBlanc's wife was involved in that firm.
I obviously didn't think that this was caught by the definition of relative or family in the Act. The Commissioner, however, has the responsibility to make those determinations. I accept his determination.
The license has been canceled and LeBlanc is not required to pay a fine.
It's very important for us to consult with the Prime Minister, to let him know where we are in the negotiation, and to get his instructions for next steps. Minister, this is obviously a very consequential...
Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland updating reporters tonight on the state of the NAFTA negotiations. She met behind closed doors with the Prime Minister twice today on the 24-year-old trade agreement. Freeland says the talks are not at a stalemate and a good deal is still possible. Canada's chief negotiator will be back in Washington for meetings tomorrow.
Well, coming up on The National, a provincial program meant to bring newcomers and new money to PEI, but border officials say the province got scammed.
And we go in depth on the U.S. midterm elections. Can the Democrats really win back Congress?
Plus, an extraordinary story from our colleagues at Radio Canada. We go inside the operating room as a man's life is changed forever during Canada's first face transplant.
After 30 hours of surgery, after
multiple years working in the lab, we were finally able to deliver Maurice a new face.
Prince Edward Island has aggressively pursued newcomers over the last decade. In fact, last year, immigration helped make PEI the fastest growing province in the country. But some are now being accused of exploiting an immigration program that was meant for entrepreneurs. And as Carrie Campbell explains from Charlottetown, what once held such promise is now being shut down.
This business used to be one of a kind, but these days, Lisi Tao's Chinese grocery is one of at least half a dozen in Charlottetown.
I love this place. I enjoy here. So I make this business just because I need a job.
She's a success story of the island's provincial nominee program, but 2 federal investigations suggest there's a big problem. The program gives permanent resident status to immigrant investors as soon as they arrive in exchange for a $200,000 deposit to the province and a promise to open a local business.
It's known out there that PEI was an easy place to come through and get your immigration through a deposit system. We were a bit of a laughing stock.
Here's the problem. According to federal investigators, many didn't settle on PEI, let alone open a business. In other words, they didn't keep their part of the bargain.
You could conceivably cut a check, forfeit your money, and get Canadian permanent resident status, and that's just wrong.
Canada Border Services investigators are looking at up to 1,000 cases where the same handful of PEI addresses were used on immigration forms, they say, to make it appear people were living on PEI when they were not.
The program wasn't meeting the expectations of islanders, and it wasn't meeting the expectations of government either.
Today, PEI said it would cancel the program and follow the lead of most other Canadian provinces, make sure immigrant investors run successful businesses for a year under a temporary visa before they become permanent residents. But the controversy around this program isn't over, with an immigration fraud trial set for November. Carrie Campbell, CBC News, Charlottetown.
Still ahead on The National, a new kind of surgery and a new life. We take you inside the operating room for Canada's first ever face transplant.
But coming up next, we go in depth with just 55 days until the U.S. midterm elections. Republicans have a lot to lose, but can the Democrats make the gains?
What are the chances that the Democrats could win that House?
The chances for the Democrats to take over the Senate are not zero, but they're not enough to actually bet the car on.
We have a chance to restore some sanity in our politics. You can feel people saying, oh, enough is enough.
I fell asleep. I found he's very good for sleeping.
2 very different portraits of leadership. On the one hand, a president who dominates his party. On the other, a former president trying to rally a party without an obvious leader. And for U.S. voters, it really matters because in less than 2 months, they head to the polls for a crucial midterm election. For all the talk about the imminent blue wave, a Democratic victory, the truth is anything could happen. And in some ways, the Republicans are better prepared. Keith Bogue explores how Democrats are battling Trump even without their own general on the Hill in this dispatch from Washington.
Something incredible is happening with our country to have this.
Donald Trump's claim that he's riding an irresistible wave of nationalist enthusiasm might be convincing here in the hardcore Trump country of Evansville, Indiana. But the truth is that nationally, his average approval rating, about 40%, is the lowest of any president since Harry Truman 70 years ago. Plus, his devoted supporters are not the only team on the field this election season. Democrats don't have a standard bearer to rally around, so they find other ways to fire up their base. Pod Save America is the most popular partisan political podcast in the country.
So we had some breaking news before we came on tonight.
Thrown together after the 2016 election, it's become a magnet for anti-Trumpers, some of whom had no previous interest in politics, but regard Trump as a national emergency.
The next focus we have is November, and we're going to register people to vote, and we're going to organize.
It sells out shows like this right across America, even in Trump country. More than 1.5 million listeners tune in every week.
We're surprised by the popularity as much as anyone. I think there's a lot of people after Donald Trump was elected president who were scared and confused, and they wanted to know, what can we do to fix it? And they also wanted to learn more about politics.
Welcome to your first day. We will not go away.
From the beginning of Trump's presidency, there's been a grassroots uprising of resistance against him. First, an international women's protest march the day after Trump's inauguration. Then, Democratic voters began showing up in remarkably strong numbers for a string of special elections and electing Democrats in places where they shouldn't have had a chance. But the midterm congressional elections are the Democrats' biggest test yet, and the stakes are huge. Democrats could turn the president's world upside down.
First and foremost, the agenda that President Trump would wish to put forward would be derailed.
Mark Harkins is a senior fellow with the Government Affairs Institute that teaches how Congress works.
So the Democrats take back over, all of a sudden, either one house, they don't have to take over both, just one would do it. It gives them a lot of levers and a lot of resources to take a deeper look at what this administration's been doing. You can take a look at the president's tax return.
That's just one example of the kind of headache the president has been able to avoid because Republicans control both the House and the Senate. So what does it take for Democrats to change that? To win the House, Democrats have to pick up 23 more seats than they have now, and that means winning in places like Corn Country, Iowa. Here in Jackson County, where mixing a corn boil with politics is the most natural thing in the world, Democrats think they have a good shot at shucking their Republican congressman and replacing him with one of their own. So do party bigwigs in Washington. Rising stars such as Eric Swalwell are dropping in at little events like this to give some heft to the campaign.
I see you on MSNBC all the time. I'm addicted to NBC.
It's like getting us through all of it. It's like getting us all through this right now.
And and everybody is just so sad, we hate that man so bad, and it's terrible.
Swalwell is a California congressman known for regularly running down Donald Trump on the cable TV news shows. But here, in a toss-up district where feelings about Trump may be mixed, his advice to Democrats is don't make a big deal out of opposing the president.
We need to do all we can to work with the president where he's workable. So if he wants to pass infrastructure, the DREAM Act, background checks, reduce prescription drugs, we should pass that immediately, put it on his desk.
He's here to stump for the local candidate, Abby Fickenauer.
I'm running for Congress because this is personal.
Fickenauer has some political experience under her belt. She's a member of the state legislature. But thanks to Trump, her campaign has attracted people such as Donna Duval, people who've never been involved in politics before.
I woke up the day after the election and was devastated, or even election night. I was watching MSNBC, expecting Hillary to win, and it kept looking worse and worse and worse. Todd and Joe, and then our local candidates.
For a month or two, she tried to escape from the reality of Trump's election win by binge-watching old movies.
There you are, you're not involved in politics at all. Along comes Donald Trump, and now you're like a big shot in the party. No, but now, you're not just, you're deeply involved now.
Yes, I'm deeply involved.
You're the co-chair of?
I'm the co-chair of the Jackson County Democrats.
Right.
Yes, which is You know, but again, in a small town, in a small county, if you step up to the plate, somebody's going to give you a job.
I'm going to knock on this one and see if, oops, that's the cellar. This is a lot of what I do, is bumble around and...
Actually, Brendan Paul is a photographer, but his new weekend job is volunteering for the Democrats, tracking down registered Democrats in Iowa who didn't vote in the last election. A big reason Trump won in 2016.
One thing that will really help the party a lot is if you fill out this absentee ballot request. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes. And this, what it does is a couple things. It will get you a ballot mailed to you about a month before November, make it a lot easier for you to vote. 9:59 is our next, so that would be back on the odd side.
Like Donna Duvall, Paul has never been involved in politics before, but his distress at the Trump presidency has brought him off the sidelines and into the game.
It's fun to engage with people on doors and incite that energy in them and feel that, because people are excited, people that haven't really cared for a long time. So I think it's going to be big. I hope it is, at least.
Democrats pretty much have to win here in Iowa's 1st district if they're going to take back the House of Representatives. But it looks good for them. The same cannot be said of their chances of winning back the Senate. Okay, we got to talk about the Senate. What are the chances that the Democrats could win that House?
The chances for the Democrats to take over the Senate are not zero.
Right.
But they're not enough to actually bet the car on. I mean, there are an awful lot of seats that they have to defend where Donald Trump was winning by large amounts. Look at West Virginia. Trump won by 40%. Joe Manchin as a Democrat, is trying to hold that seat. And the Republicans are only trying to protect 8 seats this time. And so there aren't that many pickup opportunities. And some of those are in places like Wyoming and Idaho, which just are not going to vote for Democrats. So while it's possible it's going to take the running of the table and having very unusual wins in southern states probably to make the difference.
Very unusual wins means thinking about a Democrat winning a Senate seat here. This is Mississippi. Last time voters elected a Democrat to the Senate from here was in 1982, and he wasn't a black man.
You know, when 2% of the population of America...
Mike Espy aims to change all that in part by boosting African-American turnout.
So we've looked at the turnout models. We know where these voters are in Mississippi. We know which ones have not voted since President Obama.
If it sounds too crazy to think a Democrat could win here, consider what happened in Alabama last year. Democrat Doug Jones won a tight race for Senate where no Democrat had won since 1992. The African-American vote was the key to it, and so was a media strategy that reached out to Republicans tired of the chaos in Washington. Campaign veteran Joe Trippi directed the Alabama media strategy. Now he's on board for the Espy campaign in Mississippi.
I didn't know Mike Espy would be a candidate when I thought Mississippi was possible. I really believed, I looked at, after the Alabama experience, I looked at the situation in Mississippi, the makeup of the electorate, where the sort of Republican Party was headed, and thought, you know, if we have a good candidate who can bring people together, we can put Mississippi in play, and it could be the Senate seat that decides everything.
Espy is well known in Mississippi. He was a congressman in the 1980s and President Bill Clinton's agriculture secretary in the 1990s.
Is it okay? That's great, man. Great. We're real excited.
At this reception a couple of weeks ago, he was endorsed by the Mississippi Conference of Black Mayors.
Good to see you.
Perhaps not a surprise, given who he is. But it's something that no other Democrat has had, and all these mayors had their own little political machines to put in the field for him. Plus, there is a significantly higher percentage of African-American voters in Mississippi than there was in Alabama. The race here is looking like a tight one, a toss-up, which is a good thing for Democrats if the midterms turn into a wave election for them. What's a wave? How do you define a wave?
In essence, it is when you have a whole lot of toss-up seats, they all go one direction. That's what defines a wave. Because normally you would think in a toss-up seat, it would go one way or the other, and you'd split them down the middle. What we find in our elections oftentimes is all of those toss-ups go to one side or the other. That's defined as a wave.
And we're back!
To be at a Pod Save America show is to feel like you're inside the Democrats' blue wave, and that can be misleading. Filling an old music hall with Democrats is no way to estimate Election Day turnout. Still, Trump is what has stirred this up, and that might not be a good omen with the November elections increasingly viewed as a referendum on his presidency. Keith Bogue, CBC News, Washington.
Next on The National, another story you don't want to miss. A daring, life-changing surgery. First of its kind in Canada, we take you inside the OR during the country's first ever face transplant.
Tonight on The National, time is running out for an ailing young orca off BC's south coast. Experts say J50 is so sick, she's lost the fat that insulates her and helps her swim. So they're now considering a plan to capture her so veterinarians can try to provide her with hands-on care. And in New Brunswick tonight, political party leaders squared off in the first debate of the provincial election campaign. Among the big issues, language, pay equity, and rural considerations like delays with ambulance service. Voting day in New Brunswick is coming up on September the 24th.
And in Quebec today, an incredible medical achievement was unveiled. For the first time in Canada, doctors have successfully performed a face transplant.
It was the most spiritual experience for everyone who was there. When he finally looked in that mirror, it hit home. And so everyone in the room, the security guards, we were all crying.
This is what Maurice Desjardins looked like 7 years ago, before the hunting accident that left him without a face. And this is what Desjardins looks like today. The work of a plastic surgeon with a bold plan and the confidence to follow through. Our colleagues at the Radio-Canada program Découverte were allowed inside the operating room. Charles Tissard takes us there.
The operation lasted 30 hours. 30 hours of surgery to perform an extremely rare transplant, a face transplant, a Canadian first. In January 2011, Maurice Desjardins was in a hunting accident. 4 reconstructive surgeries later, he's still disfigured and in chronic pain. In 2014, Dr. Daniel Borsuk proposes something extraordinary, a face transplant.
Et lorsqu'il vous a proposé l'opération, comment vous avez réagi?
Il dit, ah ouais, fort. Il dit, ça fait longtemps que j'entends ça.
On travaille là-dessus, là. Donc ça, c'est maintenant.
Docteur Bourchier, c'est comme un dieu, là. Parce qu'il nous a donné un espoir de nouvelle vie. Parce que l'espoir de nouvelle vie, là, on n'aurait pas pensé ça pantoute.
Dr. Borsuk's surgery plan is exceptional because the transplant doesn't just involve the skin, it includes almost the entire face. That means the nose and cartilage, the jawbones, the teeth and mouth, all in a single transplant.
Bonne chance.
Ça, c'est tous les chirurgiens qui ont travaillé pour toi aujourd'hui. On est tous ici pour toi, OK, mon homme?
Oui.
Tout le monde.
J'ai confiance en toute la gang.
Merci. All right, Maurice.
OK, go.
Let's go.
The operating room is ready. A surgeon makes the first incision.
Le taux de succès, c'est pas 100%. Il y a des risques très, très, très graves qui sont associés avec ces genres de chirurgie. On a eu une longue discussion, moi, lui et sa femme.
While the surgeons remove Desjardins' face, the donor's body arrives. Both operations are performed simultaneously. 9 surgeons, several anesthesiologists, and an army of nurses form the medical team. Of all their fears, the one foremost in their minds is the risk the donor's face will be rejected.
C'est sûr que dans la greffe de visage, le rejet est très présent. C'est une menace qui est très probable chez lui. Il s'expose à des rejets. On s'attend à ce qu'il y ait un rejet à un moment donné dans l'évolution.
J'ai bien peur qu'il reste sur la table. Là, il est vivant. Mais si ça ne fonctionne pas, si son visage, sa peau rejette le visage, ils vont faire quoi?
Ça va fonctionner. Il n'y a pas de plan B.
Il n'y a pas de plan B, mais est-ce que vous avez peur d'échouer malgré tout?
Toujours. Il y a des choses qu'on peut faire, si jamais, mais il n'y a pas de raison que ça ne va pas marcher.
After 11 hours of surgery, the process of removing the donor's face is almost complete. 45 minutes later, the scene is surreal. Dr. Borsak washes the graft, Desjardins' future face. There's no time to waste. The team connects the veins and the arteries. They need to establish blood flow to the face, otherwise necrosis will set in. The operation is almost over. All in all, the surgery will have lasted 30 hours.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Desjardins is transferred to the intensive care unit. The next few hours are crucial.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Nice and slow. C'est beau. Arrête.
For the next few days, Desjardins is kept in a medically induced coma. His doctors don't want to put him through any undue suffering.
Voilà, merci à tout le monde. Florence.
It's time to unveil Desjardins' new identity. He and his surgeon have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
All right, Maurice. Tu vas te regarder là?
Pense à fermer ta bouche. Garde tes dents ensemble. OK?
Je peux pas parler. OK? Qu'est-ce que tu en penses?
Transplant medicine is progressing step by step. It's a journey marked by failures and incredible achievements. But behind each breakthrough, you'll often find a bold doctor and a courageous patient. Charles Tisser, CBC News, Montreal.
Incredible. Somehow I'm supposed to talk after all that. As you saw in that last shot, Desjardins is actually doing incredibly well, but his transplant journey is far from over. After spending 2 months in hospital recovering, Desjardins was transferred to a physical rehabilitation center to learn to eat and speak again. He'll have to take all sorts of immunosuppressants for the rest of his life to prevent his body from rejecting his new face. They will come with their own side effects and will leave his body defenseless against even the most innocuous infections. But he's already grown a beard, something that was impossible before the surgery. And this is incredible, an incredible story. He's well enough to go on walks with his wife now.
It really is incredible. Next on The National, our other moment of the day, because that was pretty momentous. The unlikely barometer the U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency uses to see how quickly a community can get up and running again after disaster. Yeah, that's the right picture. The Waffle House is involved.
We are continuing to track Hurricane Florence as it barrels closer to the United States, and officials are warning people that while the storm may be getting a little weaker, it is still expected to be an extremely dangerous one when it does eventually hit. Now, once a natural disaster like Florence has come and gone, FEMA officials have a pretty simple system to help judge the impacts. They turn to a U.S. landmark, a resilient breakfast chain for what they call the Waffle House Index. And it's our moment of the day.
People are relying on us to be there all the time. So I think after a storm, they're really looking to us to be there to help them out because they're used to us being there the rest of the year.
Waffle House is known for being open 24/7 through pretty much anything. So well prepared, even in the face of disaster, that if they close or have trouble resupplying, it means big trouble. When a former FEMA administrator clued into this fact, it inspired the Waffle House Index. Here's how it works. Green means you're good to go. Yellow means Waffle House is open, but only offering a limited menu. Red, the Waffle House is closed, and that means the neighborhood has been hit hard. So people in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, may want to take their evacuation orders seriously. Waffle houses there are already code red. We'll see about any others. But a defiant Waffle House HQ tweeted out this message today. Hey, Flo, kiss my grits.
I've driven around a lot in North Florida and Georgia, and to go by the Waffle House, Rosie, is not to be that impressed. Doesn't look like that great a building. I didn't know how symbolically important they were.
Apparently, it sustains life in the southern United States. And I didn't even know about the restaurant or this index. It's all fascinating. But our capable producers called 27 Waffle Houses today. Of the 11 that answered, 9 said they will remain open for the storm. So I guess it works, the index.
You know, it's a reminder, too, like we talk a lot about first responders in the face of emergencies like this, as we should, but cooks and wait staff and store clerks,
hotels,
like there are a lot of people who with, so-called ordinary jobs who are so critical to help a community deal with what's going to happen in the South in the next few days. That is the National for Wednesday, September the 12th. Good night.
Night.